Fraction arithmetic. We'll start out with multiplication. Example 1. 7/5 times 5/6 times 3/4. First thing we want to do is we want to look at the diagonals and cancel the common factors. So looking here at 5 and 5, they both share a 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Let's look at the other diagonals. 7 and 6, they do not share any factors. 6 and 3 do. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 4 and 7 do not share any factors. So now we can multiply straight across. 7 times 1 times 1. All over 1 times 2 times 4. So we get 7 in the numerator and 8 in the denominator. And our fraction is already simplified, so we are done. Example 2. Example 2. 4 times 3/5. Okay, 4. We want to put it over 1 because it means the same thing as the whole number 4. Now we look at our diagonals to see if we can cancel out common factors. 4 and 5 do not share common factors. 1 and 3 do not. So now we will multiply straight across. So in the numerator we'll have 4 times 3. In the denominator 1 times 5. So we'll get 12 over 5. This is an improper fraction. The answer is correct. If we want to change it to a mixed number, so let's do that next. We're going to change this improper fraction to a mixed number. We will take 12/5. We're going to divide, so this means 12 divided by 5. 12 divided by 5 is written like this. 5 goes into 12 twice, times 10. Subtract out with a remainder of 2. We bring the remainder up as a fractional remainder, 2 over 5. So 12/5 is equal to 2 and 2/5. Next we'll look at division of fractions. For division, we're going to, let's start with an example here. Example 1. 1/3 divided by 3/5. So for division, the rules are to keep the first fraction. We're going to keep the first fraction. We're going to change the sign to multiplication. This sign here. And we're going to flip or take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So this now gives us 1/3 times 5/3. So back like multiplication, we check the diagonal for any factors that we could reduce, common factors. We do not find any, so we multiply straight across. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 3 is 9. And we get our answer 5/9. Okay, example 2. A whole number divided by a fraction. Okay, here we have 5 divided by 10/3. So we need to make our 5 into a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So let's try out our process here now. We keep the first fraction, we change the sign of multiplication, and we flip or do the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now we want to simplify by looking at the diagonal. They both share a common factor of 5. I can divide this by 5 and get 1. Divide this by 5 and get 2. 3 and 1 do not share any common factors, so now I multiply straight across and I get 3/2. Now we could change this to a mixed number, but we'll go ahead and leave it as 3/2 improper fraction for now. Example 3. Let's do a whole number, or a mixed number. A mixed number here divided by another mixed number. Okay, so our first step here is we must change the mixed numbers to improper fractions to begin. So to do this, we have 1 and 3/5. We're going to go this direction. We're going to multiply 5 times 1 and add the 3. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So this fraction is become 8 over, and we put it over there, the denominator here, 5. So 1 and 3/5 is the same as 8/5. Let's do the same thing now for the 2 and 1/2. So we go this direction, 2 times 2 plus 1, which would give us 5, and we put that all over 2, 5/2. So now we're really going to be multiplying this fraction and this fraction. So moving down over here, we now have 8/5. I'm sorry, we're dividing. 8/5 divided by 5/2. So now we must change the division to multiplication. Remember, we have to do keep, change, flip. So let's rewrite this. This is 8/5 times 2/5. Okay, we look on our diagonal to see if there's anything we can cancel. I don't see anything. So we multiply straight across 16 over 25. And we're finished. We'll now add and subtract fractions. And keep in mind that you must have a common denominator. Must have a common denominator. So for our first example, let's look at 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. So we need to first have a common denominator for all these fractions. We want to use their least common denominator to make the problem easier. So 2 will go into 12, 3 will go into 12, and 4 also goes in 12. So let's use a common denominator of 12. So to get this fraction to become something with 12 on the bottom, 2 times 6 would get 12. So we're going to multiply the top, or the denominator and the numerator by 6 for this fraction. So 1 times 6 gives us 6/12. So this is an equivalent fraction to this original 1/2. Now let's look at the 1/3. 3 times what is 12 times 4. So we multiply the denominator and the numerator by 4, and this becomes 4/12. Now we have our 1/4. 4 times 3 is 12, so we multiply the denominator and numerator by 3, and we get 3/12. Now that we have a common denominator, we can go ahead and add. So now we're going to add. When we add, we keep the denominator, And we're only adding up the numerators. So 6 plus 4 plus 3. Let's do this math. So that's 13/12. And we have an improper fraction that's simplified, and we can stop here. Example 2, we have a mixed number, 1 3/4 minus 5/8. So we first must change this to improper. To do that, we did that already. 1 times 4 plus 3 is 7. So this becomes 7/4 minus, I'm not changing this other part, minus 5/8. So now we need a common denominator. Let's choose the 8 because 4 times 2 is 8. So we want to make both fractions with 8 on the bottom. This fraction does not have to change. This fraction does. 4 times 2 is 8. So 7 times 2 is 14. Now we can go ahead and do this math. 14 minus 5 is 9. So we are left with 9/8, and that's simplified. Example 3 is going to combine a lot of what we've learned. We have 2/3 plus 1/2, all divided by 5/6 minus 1/3. So I'm going to do the math in this numerator first. So we need a common denominator. Let's use 6. So 3 times 2 is 6 times 2, so I have 4/6. 2 times 3 times 3, I have 3/6. Let me go ahead and finish this math in the numerator. I'll have 7/6. This is all divided by, let's use a common denominator of 6 in the bottom. So this fraction here I did not have to change. This one I do, 3 times 2 times 2. So now I can do this math here. So now what we can do, we can rewrite this. This is kind of ugly looking, so let's rewrite it. 7/6 divided by 3/6. This is what this means. This means division, this symbol here. So now I need to do keep, change, flip. So I keep the first fraction, I change this to multiplication, and I flip or take the reciprocal of the next fraction. Now I want to cancel on diagonal. So my 6 divided by 6 is 1, divided by 1. So my final answer is 7/3.